Hey guys, it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. I know. Um, where to begin? First off, I have a health update, a pretty big one actually, and it actually explains quite a bit of the issues that I've had for the last 12 years. Now, um, in some of my previous videos, I know I mentioned how I was struggling with my glucose and how it would randomly drop frequently every single day, and how I'd have to struggle drinking soda after soda after soda, eating after meal after meal, trying to keep my blood sugar from dropping. Because if I didn't actively try to keep it up, it would drop. And when it would get low enough, I couldn't get it back up. And then there's the inability to have bowel movements, slow digestion, constant nausea and stomach problems. Lo and behold, all of that was caused by what equals to a blocked bowel. Now, for some reason, I have scar tissue in my gut area and my pelvis. And I was hospitalized a few months ago because of being constipated for 2 weeks straight. That's the worst I've ever had. And I finally got to a point where I told my parents, you guys need to take me to the emergency room. Something is seriously wrong. I've never gone this long without movement of some kind, you know? Um, I had been battling with that for years. And through the years, because my bowel was basically kinked with a twist and then stuck to my pelvis, quote unquote, my gastroenterologist said, your colon was in your pelvis. Yeah. So I don't have gastroparesis. I know that for a fact now. Yay. And, when I was in the hospital, I spent 3 days there. So, um, they gave me an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. And the whole time I was there, they were cleaning me out with the bowel prep for the colonoscopy. They make you drink this big ass 1 gallon jug of, I think, polyethylene glycol. Something like that. But that was the hardest thing to do when you're already so constipated. When you bend over, you'd puke. It was that bad. And through the years, my body deteriorated, my muscle mass dwindled away, no matter how much I ate. And yes, in the beginning of my sobriety in 2020, on January 1st, after that, I put on some weight in the beginning stages of my sobriety. But that's also right when my bowel issues started to get critical. And it got to a point where just going outside and mowing my lawn, which normally takes me maybe 25 minutes, not even that, to mow the entire lawn. It's a very short yard, it's very small, and I would go out there and my blood sugar would be, for example, 200. I'd go out, I'd start mowing, and a lot of times I wouldn't be able to finish mowing because my blood sugar would then suddenly be 59 and the arrow pointing straight down on my CGM, which means you're dropping quick. So I didn't really get a lot of warning. So I've been physically limited to the extreme for years. And all the mental problems that I've had lately was because of malnutrition. When you deal with malnutrition for 12 years, it doesn't start off extreme. It starts off small. Little things that, yeah, sure, they're a nuisance, but they're not serious enough to really make you stop your daily routine and say, hey, something's really wrong here. No, it's more like, okay, I can get through this to finish my day. And then pretty soon a few years goes by and you're used to doing that. And sure, there are times you have moments where things seem to work better, but there's also a flip side to that. There are times when it got worse and got acute for quite a while. And then it would let up a little bit and I'd have movement again. And it turns out that I guess I had an injury about 12 years ago or longer than that. He said I could have even had this issue as a child. So right now I'm in a unique position because there are a lot of people out there who suffer from the same condition that I had, and they never get help for it because nobody finds it. And that was the problem with me in the beginning. When I was about 20, 19, 20 years old, I started noticing bowel issues, but that kind of irregularity, I was still regular enough that it didn't affect me. It got real bad through the years, though, and it just, there aren't words. So I have the ability to possibly be an advocate for people who had the condition I had. And all that time I knew something wasn't quite right, especially when no matter how much food I'd eat, I kept losing weight and muscle mass. And I was drinking a gallon of water a day just to have gut motility. Because the only time I could really do anything is when it was liquid. And even then, that stopped. So while my gastroenterologist was doing the colonoscopy, he found the kink with a twist in my bowel. And he also discovered that that kink and twist was stuck that way because my bowel was adhered via scar tissue to the inside of my pelvis on my right side here. And I just completed physical therapy like 4 days ago. So I'm up to 151 pounds right now. The last video you guys saw me in, I was about 137, which is a far cry from 118 pounds when I got clean and sober. But you know what? I had something medically wrong with me. I have an excuse. So, whatever. Um, uh, you know, my parents both have said numerous times that I'm a completely different person now. What you don't understand about malnutrition is, yeah, you get skinny and it affects you physically and you get weaker. But it doesn't just affect you physically, it affects you mentally too. Because guess what? Your brain is still a physical thing. And if my body doesn't even have enough nutrients to sustain it enough to mow the lawn, or even just sitting here watching TV, how is my brain going to have enough nutrients to keep running? The brain is the most taxing, calorie wise and energy wise, organ in the body. So, my doctor actually looked me in the eyes and he said, "My God, no wonder you've been such an asshole." And I kid you not, he actually said that to me. Many people that I've known in the medical field who are familiar with me have said the same thing. No wonder you were so cranky. And lo and behold, you know what? The doctor finally validated the pain that I've been in for years. And he said, "My God, that must have been painful. You have no idea." And it's really crappy because in the very beginning of these bowel problems, I actually did seek help when they got to a point where they gave me issues, and no doctor would take me seriously. I kept talking about being in pain, with stomach pain, and a lot of times they would laugh at me. They would look me in the eyes like with a judgmental look, and they would laugh at me. And I'm pretty sure one of my doctors years and years and years ago put me in Doppel as a drug seeker, when in reality, I was actually somebody in dire need of help. And you know what? Through the years, it almost killed me numerous times. So I'm looking into possible legal action. Who knows? I need to find out why and what doctor did that. And at the very least, I want to look them in the eye and ask them, why did you do that? Because you have no idea what you took from me by not listening to me. My prime years are gone. My 20s are gone. I'll never get that time back. All that time wasted in survival mode. My parents are mourning because of all the time that we've lost as a family because of that. And not to mention my friends. A lot of friends who are not with me anymore because of my jerk behavior. But you know what? I actually had something wrong with me that explains even that. And mentally, by the way, my potassium levels were critically low as well. Because the only way I could get any movement is by drinking so much water, my potassium levels would drop. And then drinking so much coffee that it would come right out of me because it's a diuretic. Coffee was one of the only ways I could get my stomach to work. And in the end, that failed. So, I want to know why I had to lose a decade of my life because of some judgmental doctor. And this is back before I became an addict. And you know, the funny thing is, nobody ever listened to me when I said this, but the reason I smoked pot early on is because it fixed my stomach problems. For many years, I did that because it was the only thing that made life bearable. It was the only thing that made me hungry enough to eat. And just, I might possibly never have become an addict if my stomach issues had been fixed in the very beginning. Because then, after being addicted to several different things, pot, opiate pain pills, fentanyl patches included, actually, and then methamphetamine, alcohol off and on throughout my 20s as well. And you know, I would not have gone to other things if I wasn't in pursuit of pot through the years. Because that is how I found meth. And you know what? The effed up thing is, meth, I would do a little bit, and you know what? I would poo within 40 minutes of having any. Another reason why I kept using it. So, I want to know why I had to learn so many hard lessons because of an underlying medical condition that nobody knew about. I suspected, but I couldn't prove it. Nobody would listen. You know what? I'm trying my best to just say, you know, it is what it is. I'm grateful that it's fixed now. And I'm grateful that I can have hope now of a normal life for the first time in over 12 years. I will be able to have a normal life again. It's a double-edged sword, and it's very bittersweet. I'm angry, I'm hurt, and frankly, I'm resentful of the medical system because nobody listened to me for 12 years. And you know what? I was right the entire time. And instead, they gaslighted me and they made me feel like a fool. They made me feel like crap about myself for needing help. And they treated me like I was a pissant. Like I was some worthless piece of crap that doesn't deserve any kind of remorse or empathy. I'll never get those years back. They're gone. But for the grace of God, I'm still standing. I'm clean and sober. Still. This January 1st will be 3 years off of crystal meth. Yay. So, have a good day. God bless you. You're important in this world and you are loved. See ya.